Welcome to the Human Capital Innovations Podcast, your go-to source for personal, professional, and organizational growth and development. We hope you tune in often for all things people management, organizational development and change, organizational leadership, and social impact related. Maximize your personal and organizational potential with Human Capital Innovations Podcast. Welcome to the Human Capital Innovations Podcast. In this HCI Inc. Insights podcast episode, I explore a recent Inc. video, "To Become an Inspiring Leader, Don't Even Try." Welcome back to the Human Capital Innovations Podcast. In this HCI Inc. Insights podcast episode, I explore a recent Inc. video titled, "To Become an Inspiring Leader, Don't Even Try." If you want to become an inspiring leader, you should stop focusing on leadership and discover sincere personal inspiration. Then you'll be leading by default. This is a really brief video, but some powerful insights. And I'll catch you on the flip side of this first clip.
People come to me all the time and ask how they can be inspiring leaders. I have persons who want to take my program because they want to be inspiring leaders. If you want to be an inspiring leader, you're already pretty well advanced on the wrong path, because then it's all about you. I want to be an inspiring leader.
Now, of course, it's good that someone wants to be a more impactful and inspiring leader, but I really appreciate this insight that if we're making it all about ourselves, then we're missing the boat. That's one of the reasons why I'm such an advocate for the servant leadership approach and paradigm, because servant leadership makes it not about us and our ego and our abilities and our competencies and capabilities, but rather it really turns the focus onto our people. We're in our position to help lift and maximize the potential of our people by helping them to recognize and understand their own potential and then feeling supported and empowered to achieve it. So that's a very different frame of reference than if we think we're going to become an inspiring leader to basically become the savior of our people, the person that's going to help them accomplish everything that they could ever hope to accomplish. If that's our approach, it's about us. But rather, if I take a humble approach where I realize that I don't accomplish anything without my people, and I'm there simply to support them, and I'm there simply to empower them and to help them recognize their own potential and then reach to achieve it. If that's my mindset, then ultimately people are going to look to me and I will be more inspiring and I'll have the potential to have a greater impact with my people. So it's kind of counterintuitive when you focus on it less and you focus on being a servant leader first and not about yourself, you actually will end up being an inspiring leader by default.
And what you're really saying is, I want people to do what I would like them to do, which perhaps they don't want to do. So I've got to figure out how to get people to do what I want them to do when they don't want to do what I want them to do, which means I want to learn how to manipulate them, which is not a very nice thing to do. In my book, the way to become an inspiring leader is not even try.
So when we're focusing on ourselves first, when being an inspiring leader is all about us, then inevitably what we're going to end up doing is trying to get people to do what we want them to do the way we want them to do it. And whether that's our intention or not, it becomes manipulative. So we're trying to inspire them to really accomplish what we want them to do. That's totally different. That's a completely different mindset than being a servant leader, where you're trying to help empower people to be their best selves, to be their authentic selves, and to bring their best whole self to work and the work that they're doing. If we can focus on them and we can help them to accomplish their potential, it's not about us, and it's not about manipulating them and trying to get them to do what we want them to do. It's about us supporting them. It's a fundamentally different thing. And so if we can really set aside our own ego and our own desire to be a great leader and focus first on our people, then really by default, we can then start to become that impactful leader that we really hope and long to be. I'm excited to announce the publication of my new book from HCI Press, The Alchemy of Truly Remarkable Leadership: Ordinary, Everyday Actions That Produce Extraordinary Results. Consider how the nature of work has shifted over the past 50 years. With increased globalization, rapid technological advancement, and the shift in economic composition, the average job of today looks very different than the average job of 50 years ago. What will the jobs and organizations of tomorrow look like? Moreover, what does this all mean for organizational leaders? What are the core competencies and capabilities of organizations and their leadership that are prepared for continued disruption and geopolitical and socioeconomic shifts? Regardless of what the future holds, increasingly, leaders need to be socially minded, data-driven, decisive, champions of talent, and disruptors of the traditional notions of leadership, teams, organizations, and work. The Alchemy of Truly Remarkable Leadership will help you to explore your own leadership competencies and capabilities and consider ways to apply and implement them into your workplace and personal life. I'm excited to share my insights with you.
You have to become personally inspired by a goal, a vision which is much bigger than you are and which brings a greater good to a greater community. And you should be so subsumed by that that you're willing to devote, if not your whole life, at least a big chunk of your life to accomplishing that vision. When you are personally inspired and you learn how to communicate the vision that you have, you become an inspiring leader by default, because anyone who comes in touch with you will become inspired.
So we need to become inspired in and of ourselves, in our own work, in our own efforts, in our desire to help our people and to help them to achieve their potential. As we become inspired around a grand vision of a way to benefit humanity, to benefit society through the work that we do, and we communicate that to our people, and then we help empower and lift up our people, then by default, they will become inspired by us, and collectively we'll be able to achieve some really great things. So me trying to just inspire my people and learn all of the tricks to inspiration and influence, that's an inherently manipulative kind of an approach. And even when your intentions are good, people can sense that manipulation, and some people will resent it and resist, and ultimately you won't get the best out of all of your people. But when we focus on them first and we could communicate our own inspiration and that passion that we bring to the work that we're doing, and then help them to find that passion within themselves and then work towards achieving it, that kind of an empowering type of an environment, that is ultimately what will connect us with our people. And the inspiration we feel will then transfer over to them, and they'll be able to develop that intrinsic passion and inspiration within themselves. It's not something we can put onto them. We can't inspire people, but we can create an inspiring context. We can create an inspiring environment in which they can do their best work and be their best selves. That's ultimately what we need to strive for. And when we do that, we are becoming an inspiring leader by default, not because we're focusing on trying to be inspiring and all the tricks and manipulative tactics to do that, but rather because we're focusing on our people first and we're connecting to our own inspiration. I really love this brief video and the audio that I shared with you today. I think it's a simple concept, but it's one that we can't hear enough. Ultimately, it'll help us connect better with our people and help us to be more impactful in the work that we do as leaders. Thanks for joining me on this episode of the Human Capital Innovations podcast. As always, I hope you stay healthy and safe, that you can find meaning and purpose at work each and every day. and I hope you have a great week. We are excited about the launch of HCI's new magazine, Human Capital Leadership. Human Capital Leadership is a free, interactive e-magazine designed to help individuals, leaders, and organizations find innovative approaches to maximize their human capital potential. We will be publishing issues quarterly in August, November, February, and May. Check out the first issue and let us know what you think. Thanks again for joining us for this episode of the Human Capital Innovations Podcast. I hope you stay healthy and safe and that you have a great week.